When I grew up, neither of my parents graduated from high school. My brother and I were the first in our entire extended families to go to college. We grew up with a lot of alcoholism in our family, and it impacts me to this day. After reading your book, The Good Fight, it seems to me that you and I understand each other a lot more than I expected.
Well, I believe, Jack, that we're who we are. We can't change, and that took me a while to develop that. But you cannot run from your family. They're there, and as I said earlier, the one thing that I am going to continually try to do better is be more understanding of people who use excuses why they didn't succeed in life.
But for you, it's still got to be different, isn't it? I mean, you're a U.S. Senator, you're a Senate Majority Leader, you have a lot of power. There's a lot of people who circle around you, and I'm certainly giving you lots of deference, and yet you're still that kid growing up in that shack without plumbing in Nevada. I mean, you're that guy.
I can't walk away from that. That's who I am. But as a result of that, one of the things I believe in so strongly is we need to do a better job with our health care delivery system. My mother had no teeth. One of the first things that I did, first job that I had, I went and saved money. I worked in a service station. I was in high school. I went to a dentist. He had married this woman from Searchlight. He was a big shot dentist in Las Vegas. I went, Dr. Smith, I want to get my mother some teeth. He said, well, I'm not giving credit to anybody. He insulted me. I walked out. I didn't need credit from anybody. Went to a dentist in Henderson, Nevada, Dr. Paul Marshall. I said, Dr. Marshall, I want to get my mother some teeth. And he got my mother some teeth. And, that changed my mother's life, to have teeth. And I have been an advocate for taking care of people's teeth, kids' teeth. We have children who have crooked, rotten, bad teeth. They put their hands over their mouth. They don't talk to anybody. They're not as good as they can be. I am who I am, and that's one reason I believe in dental care, so kids don't have to wind up with no teeth like my mom.
Looking at your past, again, you're right about this in The Good Fight, about working as a semi-pro boxer to work your way through college, about when you're working for the Nevada Gaming Commission, facing down the mob. You seem like a relatively low-key, quiet man, and yet you could be this kind of arm breaker kind of guy. Why are you down this path when you could be down that path, and which one do you think is more effective in Washington?
Well, the one thing my mother convinced me, even though, as I look back, there was no foundation. She told me that I'm the most handsome, I'm the toughest, hardest working person in the world. And as a result of that, I wasn't afraid of anybody physically, anybody. And even though I realize now that, because I've been in a few fights that I've lost, that I wasn't the toughest guy physically. I realize now, looking in the mirror, I have a radio face, not a TV face.
Welcome to my world, Senator.
But my mother gave me confidence that probably I didn't need, I probably shouldn't have had, but I did have. So I am who I am for a lot of different reasons.
But doesn't it make you angry when there are people who question your patriotism? And they've done this regularly against sometimes Democrats. I saw this after 9/11 when people would wrap themselves in the flag and said anybody who questioned this president was, and again, I'll let you fill in that blank.
Yeah, no, I've been criticized of being a traitor, and one of your competitors, Rush Limbaugh's, calls on me several times a week as a bad person, but you have to accept the good with the bad. I have a job to do. I can only do the best I can. Are there people better situated, better qualified to do this job than me? Probably, but I've got the job, and I'm going to do the very best I can because of that.
Again, I think back to your blue-collar days, your blue-collar upbringing. This is part of who you are. It seems that you could not have been able to get into this job without being scrappy, is the only word I can think of. And you're definitely that. How has that made a difference on a day-to-day basis?
I think the biggest thing, though, I have to be honest with you, Jack, is that I fell in love when I was 15 years old. My little wife and I, wife-to-be, we got married as young. We were teenagers. and I have a family of 4 boys and a girl, and 16 grandchildren, that's really my security. And so I'm willing to fight a little because I know at the end of the day I've always got them.
Did you marry up? I know I did. I'm just asking.
Well, that's certainly an understatement.
So what comes next for you? Where do you go from this? I mean, you're Senate Majority Leader. This is